What's up guys, it's Celeste, and I've been sort of debating making this video just because I don't really like talking about negative stuff and like feeling like I'm just complaining and things like that. And it's weird because I am pretty open about my depression and anxiety as far as talking about having them and talking about like my recovery from them and like things that I've like, I don't know, like talking about them while I'm not in them is a lot easier for me in some ways. In other ways, it's actually harder because like it's harder for me to get back in that mindset if I'm trying to talk about, I don't know, like I've tried to make a couple of videos where I talked about like how I dealt with stuff when I was feeling really bad, and because I haven't felt that bad in so long, it's been difficult for me to kind of get back in that mindset and like try to come across as like helpful to people who are in that mindset and not like come across like unreachable or something. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but usually it's as far as just like talking like publicly about my depression and stuff. Like when I'm really feeling depressed, it's a lot harder to talk about because like I said, I feel like I'm just complaining or I'm just being negative, and I don't want to like bring other people down and stuff, but I have been feeling really down lately, and I don't think it's good for me to just not talk about it and to like just try to keep it all inside and like always look positive like externally or something. And then I also don't think it's really ultimately helpful for other people, because one of the reasons that I make videos is to like be sort of an example to other people, or like something that they can look to say like I have felt that too, or like that's a struggle that I've gone through, just to make people feel less alone. And when you go online and everything that you put out is like super edited and super positive and everything, then that doesn't really help people. It just makes them feel even more alone and isolated and like, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. So I want to be able to be more vulnerable and like just open about bad stuff in my life as much as I am about good stuff. And so hopefully that's how this will come across and not me just like being whiny or something. So there are a few reasons that I've been feeling kind of down, and I've been trying to figure out what of those reasons are things that I have control over, like particularly external things like medications and like environmental stuff and things like that. Because I have changed some of my medications and supplements and things like that in the last few months, so it is possible that there has been some effect from one of those. And also, it is possible that starting tea has affected me. It's a little hard to tell. Like I said in my 1-month update video, it's hard to tell because I have these other like life triggers that are also affecting me. So it's a little hard to like nail down one or two things that could be the cause of this. It kind of feels to me like everything is just like way too much for me, which like that feeling itself is a symptom of my depression and anxiety as well. Like it's hard to tell if that's just like me feeling that way because I have like my lowered emotional defenses and stuff like that, or if it actually is like a bunch of different stuff. I don't know. It's sometimes hard to tell because when I am depressed and anxious, either or, my emotional like resilience and defenses and stuff tend to be lower, so I can't handle as much. So it might feel like there's a lot more going on, like a lot more stressors around me and stuff, when in fact there aren't anymore. It's just that I'm having trouble dealing with them. But then on the other hand, it could be that there are more stressors and that's why I'm feeling that way. Like that's what caused or triggered the depression and anxiety. So it's really hard to tell. And so I have been trying not to get too caught up in like figuring out the specific reasons and just trying to deal with it. But there are a couple of things that are kind of things that I've been focusing on, whether or not they are like the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Like one of the things is some stuff with my family that I've been dealing with, and that's been really stressful. And then one of the other really big things is I've been having a lot of negative body image feelings lately. Partly because I've gained so much weight in the last year or so. Pretty much the last year, I guess, I've gained somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds in the last year, which is pretty significant. So that really sucks. I mean, it sucks on its own just because, society, whatever, but also because the more weight I gain, the curvier I get, and then the worse my dysphoria is, and that's not good. And then, on top of that, on Labor Day weekend, I'm going to Dragon Con, and I have been planning all these costumes that I want to make. I had 4 costumes that I want to make, and at least 3 of them, but preferably all 4 of them, I would have a flat chest for. And I'm obviously not going to be able to have my top surgery before then, because I don't have enough money yet. I have about half of the money saved, so I'm doing well, but it's just taking forever and it's really frustrating. So I would have to bind for all these costumes, which is, I've talked about this a little bit before, but doing costumes and cosplay stuff is pretty much the only time that I have really, done binding, because it's just too difficult for me to do regularly because it really affects my breathing, and so it ends up giving me a migraine. I get anxiety and I feel kind of dizzy and really tired, and it's just not a good situation. So I'm really not able to do it regularly. And even when I do it for costumes, I've been able to do it in the past, but even since last Dragon Con, which was the primary place that I did this, other than Spooky Empire, I also wore it for 11 in December. But last Dragon Con I wore it for Nathan Drake and 11 for pretty much 4 days, not all day, but 4 days in a row. I wore it for a significant portion of each day. And I was able to get through that, but I had a harder time when I went to Spooky Empire. And since then, I have tried putting the binder on a few times, thinking that I would wear it out places, and I just haven't been able to. It just hasn't worked out. And I think that one of the reasons for that is because I've gained weight, and so it's a lot tighter on me. But I don't really want to have to order a new binder because, first of all, I don't know that it would give me enough compression to have a larger size, and then also I just don't want to spend $40 or $50 on a binder that I'm hopefully not going to be needing for very much longer. I'm hoping that I'll at least have my surgery hopefully by the end of this year, if not the beginning of next year. So because I don't bind regularly, and this would only be for costume stuff essentially, I don't think that I really want to spend that money for just that. But let's just say that I somehow can get myself to bind for all of Dragon Con and somehow survive through that. Even if I'm able to do that, I still am in kind of this huge dilemma with my costumes because I need to be working on them, I need to be making them. But I, first of all, chose a bunch of costumes that I don't even really know how to make the stuff for them, at least a couple of them. I've tried looking for stuff for one of them. I have no idea where to even start on that. And then the other one, which is the big costume that I really, really, really want to do, it's one of my dream costumes, is it's way beyond anything that I've done before skill-wise for sewing. So that's already intimidating. But then I did kind of come up with a couple of patterns that I think I could theoretically modify if I worked really hard and really focused on it. But I don't know how to start working with them because I don't know what my body is going to be like at that point. Because, first of all, because I don't know what's going on with my weight. Second of all, because I'm on tea, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on tea. I don't know what the effects of tea are going to be on my body. And so it's really difficult for me to figure out how to measure myself for making costumes when I don't know what my measurements are going to be then, and it's not something that I really can control or even really predict. So I just feel really stuck, and it's really upsetting to me because this year, like, I really felt like I was gonna, like, really do these costumes that I really want to do, and I'm supposed to be in all these costume groups, so if I can't make all this stuff work, then I, first of all, am going to be disappointed that I don't have costumes. Second of all, I'm going to be super disappointed that I can't be in these costume groups, and I'm going to be there with all my friends who are in their costumes that I should be wearing a costume to go with, and I won't have it. So it's not going to be a good situation for me to be at Dragon Con without any costumes. I did that a couple of years ago and focused pretty much entirely on doing photography at the convention, which was good in some ways. Like, I did learn a lot, and like, I was proud of the pictures that I took and everything, but not doing costumes was really difficult. It really made me feel left out, and it's not something that I really want to do again. And especially with, like I said, all these costume groups that I'm supposed to be in, and I really want to be a part of that, and I really want to, like, have that be a big part of my Dragon Con this year, but I just feel so helpless. Like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve this problem, because I don't know. Maybe if I were, like, really amazing at sewing, then I would know how to, like, do measurements and, like, make the pattern and the costume so that they were, like, adjustable, or at least, like, something that I could, like, wear at different sizes or something. But I'm not that great at sewing. Like, I'm okay, but I don't know that much about that kind of stuff. The only time I've ever really done modifying a pattern was last year at Dragon Con, but my mom helped me with that, like, a lot. And I don't know, I feel really stuck, and it's really been getting me down. Like, right now I'm talking about it, and I probably seem kind of, like, annoyed about it, or, like, irritated or something, but it's actually been making me really, really sad thinking about it, and really down, because costuming is, like, such a huge part of Dragon Con for me, and I really want to be able to do this. I really want to be able to have these costumes there, but I just feel like I don't know what is going on with my body, and I don't know how to plan for it. So it's getting me down because of Dragon Con, because I should be working on all this stuff, and, like, all my friends are working on their costumes, and so, like, every day I am, like, reminded that I'm not working on mine. So that's bad enough, but then on top of that, this is making me feel worse about my body. It's making me feel, like, even more, like, disconnected and sort of dysphoric about my body, because I feel like, how can I, like, feel good about it and accept it for what it is, when what it is not what it's going to be? And I don't know, it's just really frustrating. And then the other thing is, like, even if I make the costumes to fit me this year, I want to be able to wear them again in the future. So I need for it to fit me even after I have top surgery. Which, I mean, maybe that won't make that big of a difference, but I kind of think it will make some, because, I mean, even with binding, like, the tissue is still there. It's compressed, but, like, the clothes still have to fit around it. And I don't know, like, I just feel like there's so much that I just don't know how to, like, deal with, like, stuff that I don't know, like, logically how to approach the things. It's not just, like, I don't know what to do, like, I have given up, like, emotionally. I'm kind of getting to that point, because I just don't know, like, I don't want to give up. I don't want to feel defeated, and I don't want to just say, like, oh, well, Dragon Con's just gonna suck this year, and that's just how it is. Like, I don't want it to be like that at all. But I just don't know what to do. So that's really been getting me down, and I don't know. It's just been difficult for me the last, like, couple of months because of that, but then also because of a bunch of other stuff, like I said. So I don't know if anybody has any suggestions or, like, advice or anything like that. I would be open to it if you have any, but mostly I just wanted to kind of talk about this and just, like, I don't know, be vulnerable and talk about the fact that I'm sad, because I haven't done that too much on here, and I don't know, like, whenever I watch other people's videos and everything they talk about is, like, really positive, I mean, obviously I enjoy that to some degree, but it also feels a little bit, like, okay? But don't you like struggle with anything ever? Like, is everything just easy for you all the time? And I don't know if that's how my videos come across ever or anything, but I just want to be as like authentic as possible on here. So that's what this was. And yeah, so seems kind of weird to say this about this video, but if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my future content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.